Every choice you make is a vote for the person you wish to become. Whether you realize it or not, your daily decisions are shaping your future. Hit the snooze button. That's a vote for delay. Choose the gym instead. That's a vote for discipline. These choices may seem small at the moment, but over time they create the habits that define your destiny. You see, success doesn't come from one massive effort. It comes from the small, seemingly insignificant disciplines you repeat every day. And failure, it's not a single event either. It's the slow erosion caused by weak habits you tolerate day after day. What you practice consistently, good or bad, becomes the foundation of your identity. That's why today I'm going to walk you through a powerful process to rebuild yourself by killing your weak habits. Not just managing them, not just understanding them, but eliminating them. Clearing the path for stronger, more purposeful routines to take their place. We're not going to chase perfection. We're going to pursue progress. Step by step, choice by choice, habit by habit. And the beauty of this journey is that anyone can start right where they are with what they have, no matter their past. The future doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the disciplined, the deliberate, the consistent. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I guide you through the life-changing steps that will help you break your bad habits, build better ones, and become the person you were always meant to be. Let's dive in. Number 1, identify the invisible enemy. The most dangerous habits aren't always loud or obvious. They don't walk in and announce their presence. They sneak in quietly, disguised as comfort, convenience, or routine. And before you know it, they've settled in and started shaping your life in ways you never intended. That's why the first step in rebuilding yourself is to identify the invisible enemies, the weak habits hiding in plain sight. Most people don't recognize the little patterns that hold them back. Watching one more episode instead of getting ready for the next day. Reaching for fast food instead of preparing something nourishing. Skipping a workout just for today. These small slips feel harmless, but over time they build into a lifestyle that keeps you stuck. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. Early in her career, she battled emotional eating, a habit rooted in stress and self-doubt. It wasn't until she became fully honest with herself, acknowledging how that one behavior was silently undermining her confidence, that real change could begin. She didn't just try to eat better. She had to face the emotional pattern behind it. That's what it means to identify the invisible enemy. You must take a magnifying glass to your daily life. Where are your time, energy, and focus leaking? What habits do you keep brushing off as not a big deal that are actually shaping who you are becoming? This requires brutal honesty, but it's in that truth that you'll find the power to change. Make a list, not tomorrow, today. Write down the habits you know are working against your best self. Don't try to fix them all at once. Just name them. By bringing them into the light, you rob them of their power to hide in the shadows. Remember, you cannot defeat what you refuse to acknowledge. Weak habits thrive in denial. The moment you see them clearly, you begin to take back control. This is the foundation for everything that follows. You don't need to have it all figured out yet. You just need to be willing to look closely. Because the moment you identify the invisible enemy, you stop being a passive participant in your life. You become the architect. And that's where real transformation begins. Number 2, awareness creates change. You can't change what you're not aware of. And that's the trap most people fall into. They drift through their days on autopilot, repeating the same behaviors, thinking the same thoughts, and wondering why nothing ever changes. But here's the truth. Awareness is the ignition switch of transformation. Once you become aware of what's actually happening in your life, you unlock the power to do something about it. Take Marcus, for example. He's a 32-year-old freelancer who felt like he was constantly busy but never truly productive. He'd end each day feeling drained, wondering where the time went. His goals were clear, his ambitions strong, but results minimal. One week, he decided to track every hour of his day just to see where his time was really going. And that simple act of self-observation changed everything. What he discovered was eye-opening. Over 30 hours a week, yes, more than a full day, was spent switching between social media, watching YouTube in the background, and responding to messages that had no urgency. The rest was scattered across half-focused tasks and endless research. No wonder he felt stuck. Awareness doesn't come from guessing. It comes from measuring. It comes from tracking. When Marcus saw the truth on paper, it hit him like a wave. He wasn't lacking time, he was leaking it. And once he saw the leak, he could fix it. That's your challenge right now. Start paying attention. Where does your time actually go? Where does your energy disappear? What triggers those weak habits that pull you off course? Awareness isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about waking yourself up. Write it down. Track your day. Note the patterns. Pay attention to what you do when you're stressed, tired, or overwhelmed. These are the windows into your subconscious habits. This isn't busy work. It's the foundation of lasting change. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll catch yourself in the act of choosing comfort over growth, distraction over purpose. And that moment of recognition, that flicker of awareness, is your chance to choose differently. Change doesn't begin with motivation or willpower. It begins with awareness. And awareness is always available to you. It doesn't cost a thing. You just have to be willing to look, to listen, and to observe without flinching. The truth may be uncomfortable, but comfort never changed anyone. And when you become aware, really aware, you take back the power that weak habits stole from you. From there, everything becomes possible. Number 3, replace. Don't just remove. Trying to remove a habit without replacing it is like trying to pull a weed from your garden and leaving the soil bare. Eventually, something else grows in its place, and often it's another weed. Nature abhors a vacuum. And your behavior is no different. If you want to kill a weak habit for good, you have to replace it with something stronger, something better, something that serves the person you want to become. Let's look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's story. In his teenage years, he carried a lot of frustration. Growing up in post-war Austria, with a strict father and limited opportunities, he needed an outlet. That could have easily turned into destructive behavior. But instead of letting that inner tension consume him, he redirected it into something constructive: bodybuilding. Every rep in the gym became a vote for the man he envisioned. His time, his focus, his energy, he replaced idle hours with intense training. And that replacement didn't just change his body. It shaped his mindset and ultimately his entire life. You see, when you try to just stop a weak habit, let's say mindless snacking, endless scrolling, or chronic complaining, without filling that void, your brain will default back to what's familiar the moment you're tired, stressed, or emotional. That's not failure. That's human design. But it's also something you can outsmart. If you scroll social media every time you're bored, don't just vow to stop. Replace that behavior. Keep a book nearby. Take a walk. Call someone you care about. Do push-ups. Write in a journal. You're not just removing, you're rewriting your pattern. The stronger the replacement, the weaker the old habit becomes. But here's the secret. Your replacement habit must feel rewarding. Not just good for you, but satisfying. That's how it gains traction. Arnold didn't just work out because it was healthy. He loved the challenge. He loved seeing progress. He made it enjoyable. That's the key. So what habit are you trying to eliminate right now? What's your plan to fill that space? Don't just hope the bad habit fades away. It won't. But if you proactively install something better in its place, you'll starve the old one of oxygen. Your life is too valuable to let weeds grow unchecked. Pull them out, yes, but plant something beautiful in their place. Because that's how you don't just change habits. You change who you are. Number 4, the 5-step weak habit killer. Killing a weak habit isn't a one-time event. It's a structured process. Most people try to change their behavior by using willpower alone. They grit their teeth, they resist, and they push through for a few days and then fall right back into the old pattern. Why? Because they never built a proper system for lasting change. Without a clear framework, even the best intentions fall apart. Let's look at Alina's story. She was a 26-year-old marketing analyst with big goals, but her productivity was constantly derailed by endless social media scrolling. She'd open her phone for 5 minutes and lose an hour. She didn't hate her job, she just felt overwhelmed. And social media became her escape. One day, she decided enough was enough. But instead of just deleting the apps, she followed a method, a system that finally worked. Step 1, identify the habit and its triggers. Alina noticed she opened social apps whenever a task felt too hard, or when she was emotionally drained. It wasn't about the app, it was about how she was feeling. Step 2, create a compelling reason to change. She imagined her ideal future, focused, confident, successful. She asked herself, what is this habit costing me? That question lit a fire inside her. Step 3, design her environment for success. She moved social apps off her home screen, turned off notifications, and blocked usage during work hours. Out of sight, out of mind. Step 4, Replace the habit. Instead of scrolling, she'd take a 5-minute break to stretch, breathe, or write a quick journal entry. She didn't try to eliminate downtime. She simply gave it a new form. Step 5. Be patient and persistent. She didn't expect perfection. Some days were harder than others, but she tracked her progress. And over time, the new behavior took root. This 5-step method works because it respects how the human brain operates. You identify what's broken, understand why it's happening, and install something that makes more sense. No more guessing, no more hoping. Just a simple system you can follow. You might not be fighting social media. Your battle might be late-night snacking, skipping workouts, overspending, or negative self-talk. It doesn't matter. The process is the same. And remember, when you create a system for change, you don't just hope you'll improve, you ensure it. Like Alina, you stop being a slave to habit and start becoming the master of it. That's how transformation begins. Not by force, but by design. Number 5. The discipline advantage. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. It's the internal agreement you make with your future self. It's what separates those who wish from those who win. And the truth is, nobody drifts into greatness. You don't stumble into success by accident. You build it. And discipline is the cement that holds every brick in place. Look at the life of David Goggins. Before he became known as one of the toughest men alive, he was anything but overweight, insecure, and working as a pest control technician. David found himself stuck in a life shaped by weak habits, junk food, television, and excuses. But one day he hit a wall. Not a physical one, a mental one. He realized he was tired of being average, tired of being out of shape, tired of living small. And so he made a decision. Not to change everything overnight, but to build a new life. One rep at a time, 1 mile at a time, one hard choice at a time. He didn't rely on motivation. He built discipline. And that discipline turned a man who couldn't run a mile into a Navy SEAL, an ultra-endurance athlete, and an author who has inspired millions. That's the discipline advantage. Discipline isn't about making your life harder. It's about making your future easier. It's choosing the pain of self-control today over the pain of regret tomorrow. When you build discipline, your habits become automatic. You don't have to decide every day whether or not you'll follow through. You just do, because that's who you are now. It starts small. You don't have to run 100 miles. Start by making your bed. Start by showing up 5 minutes early. Start by finishing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. And here's something powerful. The more you practice discipline, the easier it gets. What once required force becomes second nature. It's like building a muscle. You push through the resistance. You show up when it's hard. And soon enough, that resistance turns into strength. Discipline doesn't make life rigid. It makes it free. It frees you from guilt, from chaos, from mediocrity. It clears the path so your best self can emerge. So if you're serious about killing weak habits, don't wait for inspiration. Choose discipline. Do the thing you know you need to do, even when it's uncomfortable. That's the difference maker. That's what turns intentions into achievements. And that's what David Goggins proved. Discipline doesn't just change your habits. It changes your life. Number 6. Kill the habit of procrastination. Procrastination is one of the most subtle dream killers out there. It doesn't yell. It whispers. It tells you you've got time, or do it later, or you'll be more motivated tomorrow. But the truth is, tomorrow has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. Because tomorrow keeps moving. And if you keep chasing it, you'll never catch it. Ethan, a 24-year-old college student, knows this all too well. He had big goals. He wanted to start his own business and write a book. He had the ideas, the vision, even the talent. But every time he sat down to make progress, he told himself he needed a little more time, a bit more research, or the perfect environment. So instead of working, he cleaned his room, scrolled through videos, made another snack, or waited until the mood was just right. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and his ideas never made it past the starting line. One day, he got tired of waiting for perfect conditions. He decided to treat procrastination like the enemy it really was. He started small. Each night, he would write down the 3 most important things to do the next day. Nothing more. Then the next morning, he forced himself to do the hardest one first. Not perfectly, not quickly, just immediately. Within a month, he had built momentum. Within a year, he had launched a small online brand and published his first short guide. You see, procrastination doesn't go away on its own. It has to be replaced with the habit of immediate action, not impulsive action, but deliberate movement. Do the thing now, not later, not someday, now. The smallest step forward today beats the biggest plan delayed for tomorrow. And don't wait to feel motivated. Action breeds motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel ready is just another form of delay dressed up as logic. The truth is, you're never fully ready. You just start, and readiness meets you along the way. So kill the habit of procrastination before it kills your momentum. Set short deadlines. Break big goals into tiny steps. Use timers, use calendars. Create urgency. But above all, start. Because once you train yourself to act now instead of later, you become a person of momentum. And momentum is a force far stronger than willpower. It keeps you moving, even on the tough days. The future doesn't wait. Neither should you. Number 7. Escape the comparison trap. One of the fastest ways to kill your confidence is by constantly measuring your life against someone else's. The comparison trap is subtle. It makes you feel like you're not doing enough, not successful enough, not there yet, wherever there is. It takes your attention away from your progress and points it towards someone else's highlight reel. And the longer you stay in that trap, the harder it becomes to appreciate your own journey. Take Simone Biles, for example. One of the greatest gymnasts in history, yet even she found herself weighed down by outside expectations and the pressure to measure up. In the middle of the Olympics, she made a choice that stunned the world. She stepped back, not because she wasn't capable, but because she refused to sacrifice her mental well-being to meet someone else's definition of greatness. That wasn't a weakness. That was strength. That was clarity. Simone didn't fall into the trap of comparing her value to others' standards. She chose personal truth over public pressure. And in doing so, she gave millions of people permission to do the same. Comparison is a thief. It steals your focus, your peace, and your energy. It shifts your mind from what can I do better today to why am I not like them? And that's a question with no finish line. Because no matter how far you go, there will always be someone ahead in some area. The only real benchmark that matters is the person you were yesterday. Are you improving, even slightly? Are you moving forward, even slowly? That's where the truth is. That's where growth is. When you focus on your own lane, you build real confidence, the kind that isn't shaken by someone else's success. And you'll find that the more you celebrate your own small wins, the less noise the outside world makes. This doesn't mean you ignore others. It means you learn from them, get inspired by them, but never define yourself by them. You are on your own timeline. You have your own battles, your own lessons, and your own purpose. So escape the comparison trap. Replace it with personal accountability and self-benchmarking. Track your growth, not your competition. Reflect on your wins, not their trophies. Because the more you look inward, the more you'll discover just how far you've come and how much further you're capable of going. And that's where real progress begins. Number 8. Turn down the noise. We live in a world overflowing with noise, not just sound, but distractions, inputs, and constant interruptions. Notifications, news updates, endless content feeds, all of it demanding your attention every minute of the day. And here's the truth. You can't build strong habits or a focused mind in a chaotic environment. To rebuild yourself, you first have to turn down the noise. Priya, a 35-year-old executive at a tech company, was the definition of busy. Meetings, emails, group chats, and non-stop information filled every hour of her day. But despite being constantly active, she felt like she was barely moving forward. Her goals, writing a book, getting in shape, learning to cook, remained untouched year after year. The reason? Her attention was scattered. She was reacting all day long and creating nothing. One weekend she decided to disconnect for 48 hours. No phone, no email, no television. She sat with a notebook and asked herself a simple question. What do I actually want to create? The clarity that emerged was shocking. She realized she wasn't lacking time or talent. She was drowning in digital clutter. So she made a radical shift. She limited her app usage to certain hours, turned off non-essential notifications, blocked out deep work time in her calendar, and made space in her home for quiet thinking. Within 3 months, Priya had outlined her book, lost 10 pounds, and finally learned to cook. Not because she worked harder, but because she worked clearer. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer distractions in your hours. Noise fragments your thinking. It scatters your energy across dozens of low-value activities, leaving little left for what truly matters. The solution isn't to cut yourself off from the world. It's to consume intentionally. Be selective. Choose quality over quantity. Choose silence over noise when you need clarity. Try it for yourself. Designate 1 hour a day as a noise-free zone. No devices, no updates, no interruptions. Just you and your thoughts. Use that hour to write, reflect, plan, or simply breathe. You'll be amazed at what rises to the surface when the volume of the outside world drops. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Protect it, guard it, treat it like gold. Because only when your mind is quiet can your true voice be heard, and your strongest habits take root. So turn down the noise, and watch your life come into focus. Number 9. Say no to say yes. One of the most powerful tools in personal transformation is the word no. It may be small, but it's mighty. Every time you say no to something that distracts you, drains you, or delays your growth, you're saying yes to something better, your priorities, your purpose, your future. Yet, most people struggle with this. They say yes out of guilt, habit, or fear of missing out. But if everything gets a yes, nothing gets your full energy. That's why learning to say no is a discipline worth mastering. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, attributes much of his success not to the decisions he said yes to, but to the thousands he confidently declined. He once said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." That principle allowed him to focus deeply, invest wisely, and build a legacy of thoughtful action instead of scattered effort. When you don't learn to say no, your life gets filled with other people's priorities. You agree to commitments that don't align. You attend meetings that drain your time. You chase opportunities that look good but don't fit your direction. And little by little, your days become full but not fulfilling. The key is to get clear on what truly matters. If your health matters, say no to late-night distractions and yes to rest. If your dream matters, say no to extra obligations and yes to focused creation. If your family matters, say no to unnecessary overtime and yes to meaningful presence. Every no frees up time, space, and mental energy to invest in what really counts. And here's something to remember: saying no doesn't make you rude. It makes you responsible. It's not about rejecting people, it's about respecting your path. You can decline kindly and assertively without apology. People who respect your boundaries will admire your clarity. Those who don't, well, that's another lesson in itself. Start small. Say no to one thing this week that doesn't serve your growth. Protect that time. Use it intentionally. Over time, you'll realize that every no to distraction is a yes to transformation. In a world full of noise, urgency, and endless demands, your ability to say no becomes your superpower. Use it. Because saying no isn't about closing doors. It's about opening the right ones. The ones that lead directly to the life you truly want to build. Number 10. Use identity-based habits. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to change their habits is because they focus only on the outcome. They say, "I want to lose weight," or "I want to be more productive." But real lasting change doesn't come from chasing results. It comes from upgrading your identity, becoming the kind of person who naturally lives out the habits you desire. Because once you believe something about yourself, your actions begin to align. Take Omar, for example. For over a decade, he battled with smoking. He tried to quit at least 5 times. Nicotine patches, motivational videos, even public declarations. Each time he'd make progress for a few weeks and then fall right back into the cycle. Until one day, something shifted. A friend asked him, "Why do you always say, 'I'm trying to quit'? Why not say, 'I don't smoke'?" That small shift changed everything. Instead of seeing himself as a smoker trying to quit, Omar began telling himself, "I'm not a smoker. That's not who I am anymore." Every time he faced a craving, he reminded himself of that identity. And day by day, he began to act in alignment with the new belief. It wasn't perfect, but it was powerful. Within 6 months, the habit was gone, and in its place stood a stronger self-image. This is identity-based habit formation. You don't just focus on what you want to achieve. You ask, "Who do I want to become?" Then you build small daily actions that reinforce that identity. Want to be healthy? Start seeing yourself as someone who respects their body. Want to be financially wise? Begin identifying as a disciplined steward of your resources. Want to be focused and consistent? Tell yourself, "I'm a person who follows through." The goal is to let your actions flow from who you believe you are, not from who you hope to be one day. And it starts with small wins. If you see yourself as a reader, reading 1 page a day strengthens that identity. If you see yourself as organized, keeping your space clean each morning reinforces it. The more you act like the person you want to become, the more deeply that identity takes root. Changing your identity isn't about pretending. It's about revealing the best version of who you truly are, one habit at a time. So stop trying to change your life from the outside in. Start changing it from the inside out. Because once your identity shifts, the habits follow naturally, and the transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Number 11. Redesign your environment. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than your willpower does. You can have the strongest intentions in the world, but if your surroundings are constantly pulling you toward distraction, temptation, or chaos, those good intentions will collapse. That's why one of the smartest ways to rebuild yourself is to stop fighting your environment and start redesigning it. Look at Serena Williams. Her legendary success didn't just come from talent or practice. It came from the environment she trained in. From a young age, her father crafted routines, built structured schedules, and removed distractions that could have derailed her focus. Every space she spent time in was designed to support excellence. The court was sacred. The routine was tight. The tools were ready. And over time, her surroundings helped her develop world-class discipline. That's the power of the environment. It either pushes you forward or pulls you back. If you're trying to eat healthier but your fridge is filled with junk, you're setting yourself up to fail. If you want to read more but your books are hidden and your phone is always within reach, guess what you'll pick up? If you want to wake up earlier but your phone is your alarm and it's filled with apps that keep you up at night, that habit doesn't stand a chance. Now imagine walking into a room that's designed to help you win. Your workout clothes are laid out the night before. Your phone is charging in another room. Your journal is waiting on your desk. A glass of water is by your bed to start the day right. Nothing complicated, just a space that nudges you in the right direction. That's how change becomes easier. Not by forcing better choices, but by designing better defaults. Make the healthy choice the easy one. Make the productive action the obvious one. Hide the junk food. Delete the distractions. Automate your savings. Keep your goals visible. Your environment should whisper success into your daily routine. This isn't about perfection. It's about positioning. You want your surroundings to work for you, not against you. Because when your environment aligns with your goals, willpower becomes a backup plan, not your main strategy. So take a hard look around you. What in your environment is enabling your weak habits? What simple changes can you make to support your strong ones? Rebuilding yourself isn't just about changing your mind. It's about changing your space. Because when your environment is designed for success, progress doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like flow. And that's when growth becomes automatic. Number 12. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. No matter how strong your willpower is, the people around you will either sharpen your habits or slowly dull them. You become like the company you keep, more than you realize. Your standards, your mindset, even your ambition is shaped by the circle you're in. That's why if you're serious about killing your weak habits and rebuilding your life, you need to examine who's in your corner. Tasha, a 28-year-old graphic designer, had always dreamed of starting her own design studio. She was talented, driven, and had ideas that could have taken her far. But she spent most of her time around people who were constantly negative. Friends who laughed at her dreams, complained about their jobs, and never pursued anything outside of their comfort zones. Every time she talked about her goals, they'd roll their eyes or say, "That's too risky." At first, she shrugged it off. But over time, she started believing them. She worked on her portfolio less. She doubted herself more. She stopped speaking about her goals altogether. Then one day, she attended a creative workshop in another city. There, she met people who were chasing their own projects, building businesses, and pushing their limits. The conversations were different. They asked deeper questions. They challenged her excuses. And in that environment, something inside her reignited. She kept in touch with a few of them. Slowly, she reduced time with her old circle and spent more time with these new connections. Her energy changed. Her confidence returned. Within a year, Tasha launched her studio, surrounded by people who believed in growth as much as she did. This is the power of proximity. You don't just need people who are nice. You need people who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who inspire you to rise. You need friends who won't let you settle, mentors who push your thinking, and peers who are moving forward, not standing still. That doesn't mean you cut everyone off. It means you become intentional. Limit time with those who drain your ambition. Increase time with those who feed your fire. Because your habits are contagious, and so is your mindset. Think about it. Are the people around you pulling you toward your best self or holding you in place? Are they expanding your vision or shrinking it? You can't rebuild your life in isolation, but you can't grow in the wrong crowd either. Choose your circle wisely. Because when you walk with the right people, even the hard habits become easier, and even the biggest goals start to feel within reach. Number 13, celebrate micro wins. Success isn't one giant leap. It's thousands of tiny steps stacked over time. And if you only celebrate the finish line, you'll miss the motivation found in every small victory along the way. Rebuilding yourself requires consistency, and nothing fuels consistency like acknowledging progress. That's why celebrating micro wins isn't optional. It's essential. Take Robert Downey Jr.'s story. At one point in his life, he was written off by the industry, struggling with addiction in and out of courtrooms. He'd lost more than just his reputation. He'd lost his belief in himself. But slowly, step by step, he began the long road back. And it didn't happen because he waited to feel like Iron Man. It happened because he committed to daily wins. Every clean day was a win. Every audition he showed up for, every call he answered instead of ignoring. He didn't wait for Hollywood's applause. He created his own. And over time, those micro victories compounded. Eventually, the world saw the transformation. But long before that, he saw it. He honored each small step forward, and that belief kept him going when the spotlight was gone. You can do the same. Maybe your win today is resisting a craving, or waking up on time, or saving just $5 instead of spending it. It might feel small, but it's not. It's momentum. And momentum is what weak habits fear most. Celebrating micro wins also rewires your brain. Each time you recognize a small success, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that creates feelings of pleasure and reward. This biological response strengthens the connection to your new habit, making it more likely you'll repeat it. So how do you do it? Simple. Create a habit tracker. Mark an X each time you complete your new habit. Say out loud, "I did it." Write down your progress at the end of the day. Tell a friend. Reward yourself with something healthy and meaningful. The point isn't extravagance, it's acknowledgement. The mistake people make is waiting for massive results before they celebrate. But if you can't appreciate your small wins, you'll always feel behind, even when you're ahead. The road to transformation is long, the path is uneven, and the finish line keeps moving. But if you pause to honor every mile you complete, you'll have the strength to keep going. Don't downplay your progress. Amplify it. Recognize it. Celebrate it, because every time you win, even just a little, you're building belief. And belief is the spark that makes everything else possible. Number 14. Build systems, not just goals. Goals give you direction, but systems determine your destination. Most people set big goals at the start of the year: lose weight, earn more, write a book. But by the second month, they've already lost momentum. Why? Because they focused on the outcome, not the process. If you want lasting change, you need more than a goal. You need a system, a repeatable, sustainable way to show up and win every day. Ravi, a 38-year-old high school teacher, always dreamed of writing a novel. Every January, he'd set a goal. This is the year I finish my book. And every year, life got in the way. Grading papers, family responsibilities, and mental fatigue kept pushing the dream aside. He wasn't lazy. He just didn't have a structure to support his ambition. Then one day, Ravi stopped aiming for the finish line and started focusing on the starting point. He created a simple writing system, 30 minutes every weekday morning before anyone else woke up. He set up a desk by the window, left his notebook open each night, and removed distractions. No pressure to write a masterpiece, just one page at a time. Weeks passed, then months. By the end of the year, he hadn't just written a novel, he had become a writer. This is the power of systems. They reduce your reliance on motivation and make success automatic. You don't have to wake up and wonder, what should I do today? Your system already knows. A goal is a result. A system is a process. You can't control when success shows up, but you can control the process you follow every day. If your goal is to be fit, your system is your workout routine. If your goal is to build wealth, your system is your budget. and saving habits. If your goal is to be more focused, your system might include deep work sessions, device-free hours, or morning planning. Without a system, every day becomes a new battle. With a system, every day becomes a new step forward. So ask yourself, what's your goal? Now, what system can support it? Break it down. Make it simple. Make it stick. Because when you fall in love with the process, the outcome takes care of itself. Ravi didn't finish his book because of one massive writing session. He finished because his system kept him consistent. And that's the lesson. Goals may inspire you, but systems will transform you. Build one that works, and your weak habits won't stand a chance. Number 15, make patience your secret weapon. In a world that praises speed and instant results, patience is an underrated superpower. But here's the truth. Meaningful change doesn't happen overnight. Rebuilding yourself, replacing weak habits with strong ones, it's a process. And that process takes time. If you try to rush it, you'll burn out. If you expect perfection, you'll be disappointed. But if you embrace patience, you give your transformation room to grow. Take Colonel Harlan Sanders. Most people know him as the face of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but few know how long it took him to get there. He didn't find success in his 20s, 30s, or even 40s. He was in his 60s when he started franchising his chicken recipe, driving from town to town, sleeping in his car, and facing hundreds of rejections. But he kept going. He stayed patient with the process. And eventually his persistence paid off, building a global empire from what began as a small roadside business. Colonel Sanders wasn't lucky. He was patient. He understood that if you keep showing up, keep refining, and keep believing, results will come. Not always when you want, but always when you're ready. Patience isn't passive. It's active. It's waking up, doing the work, and trusting that the seeds you plant today will grow, even if you don't see the fruit yet. Just like nature doesn't rush the seasons, personal growth takes its own time. And that's okay. If you're changing your habits, expect setbacks. Expect slow days. Expect moments when you wonder if anything is working. That's normal. But don't stop. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they quit too soon. Be like Sanders. Let time work for you, not against you. If you're eating better, don't judge your success by one meal. If you're building a business, don't measure progress by a single week. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. Are you showing up consistently? Are you getting a little better over time? That's what counts. Here's the truth. Impatience is what keeps weak habits alive. It convinces you that if results aren't immediate, effort isn't worth it, but patience kills that lie. Patience keeps you grounded. It keeps you steady. It helps you stay committed long enough to see real change. So make patience your secret weapon. Stay the course when others give up. Trust the process when it feels slow, because the person you're becoming isn't built in a day, but they are built daily. And the longer you stay faithful to the right habits, the stronger and more unshakable you become. Rebuilding yourself is not about flipping a switch. It's about turning a page. It's about choosing every single day to become someone better than you were yesterday. Weak habits may have quietly taken root in your life, but you have the power to uproot them, one decision at a time. And that power doesn't come from talent, luck, or perfect conditions. It comes from discipline, consistency, and the willingness to keep showing up. You've now seen the steps. You've walked through the habits that hold people back and the habits that carry them forward. You've seen how awareness sparks change, how identity shapes action, how systems create results, and how patience preserves momentum. This isn't theory, it's a path. One that anyone from any background, at any stage of life, can walk. The truth is, you already have everything you need. You have the ability to pause and choose better. You have the strength to say no to what drains you and yes to what drives you. You have the capacity to build discipline, even if it starts small. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be committed. Because your habits will shape your future far more than your hopes ever will. Maybe you've tried before and failed. Maybe you've told yourself, I'll never change. But failure isn't final. Every setback is a lesson. Every relapse is a reminder. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And that makes you stronger than you think. So what do you do now? Start small. Choose one weak habit to eliminate. Choose one strong habit to replace it. Set your environment to support you. Track your progress. Celebrate your wins. And most of all, keep going. The real difference between the person who transforms their life and the one who stays stuck isn't ability. It's follow-through. Your future is waiting for you to take that first step. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Today, right now, because the person you want to become is already inside you. They're just buried under layers of distraction, delay, and doubt. But every strong habit you build is a shovel. Every disciplined action uncovers a little more of your potential. And one day you'll look in the mirror and realize you've rebuilt yourself, not by chance, not by accident, but by killing your weak habits, one by one. And that is where the real transformation begins.